Hi, I'm Mr. Chuck, the naturalist here at Black Hawk Park, and this is my granddaughter Sarah, who's going to join us for a special nature hike today. And what we're going to do is introduce you to one of Black Hawk's unique ecosystems. You're going to go back in history. By just walking about 15 feet, we're going to go back in history over 200 years. What you see here is called the Prairie, and this is what Illinois and Iowa were like back in the 1800s. On first sight, it looks like just a bunch of tall plants. The prairie is not just a bunch of tall plants. It's a very unique ecosystem. So let's get started. Okay, Sarah. This is a plant called Rosinweed, and the Native Americans would chew the sap from the leaves of this plant to use as a gum to clean their teeth. This is called, well, it actually has two names. One name called the drooping yellow coneflower because it has kind of drooping petals. The other name is the gray coneflower because as this seed head gets older, it'll get a grayish color. After it dries out, the Native Americans would pick this, then take that dry seed head, put it in boiling water, and get an herbal tea. And if you break one open when it's dry and smell it, you'll get a citrus-like smell. Goldenrod. Now, it's not golden yet because the flower hasn't started blooming yet. So if you come about, maybe the middle of September, you'll see this in a bright yellowish gold flower. The Native Americans, if they had a sore throat, then they would take the yellow goldenrod flowers, pick those, chew those, swallow the juice, and that was their sore throat medicine. I will take just one leaf. It's not going to hurt the plant for one leaf, but then you'll see how this plant got its name. It's called milkweed. If we took this milky sap and tried to eat it or drink it, it would make us sick. It's poisonous. The Illinois state insect is called the monarch butterfly, and the monarch butterfly, when she gets ready to lay her eggs, will lay her egg on the underside of that milkweed leaf. After the caterpillar hatches from the egg, it gets hungry. So it starts eating the milkweed leaf, and as it eats that leaf, it gets that poisonous milky sap into its body. So then when it turns into a bright orange and black butterfly, and the bird bites into the butterfly, and the bird gets a taste of that milky poisonous sap, the milkweed right now is just forming its seed pod. But I have one from last year. Now this is an example of seeds spread by the wind. It depends on the plant, on the seed. The prairie can be divided into two groups: the grasses and the forbs or flowers. And here is one of the main grasses of the prairie, the Illinois state prairie grass called big bluestem. As this gets older, the stem will get more of a bluish tinge. It has a nickname called turkey foot because the seed heads of the big bluestem look like the foot of a turkey. It's been a fairly dry summer. You don't want that grass to get brown. You have to keep it watered because the grass root systems are about like that. But look at the prairie. Look at those grasses and the flowers. They are thriving even though it's been a dry summer. The reason for that is the fact that these prairie plants may be 7 or 8 feet tall above the ground, but below the ground they have root systems at least that long. I'm going to show you and a little bit a plant that's only 4 feet tall above the ground, but underneath the ground it is 16 feet long roots. Okay, let's keep going. And this is that plant I was telling you about that's only about 4 feet tall. And this is a plant, you see Sarah has kind of a leadish color. It's called lead plant. What the Native Americans would do, they'd take the leaves, dry those leaves, crush them into a powder. Then if they got a cut or a scrape and they wanted to stop the bleeding, they would put that powder on there, and it was what we call an astringent, something that stops the bleeding. Now, as you go through the prairie, there's going to be a lot of examples of seeds, and some seeds you might just see and walk by them. Some seeds will want to be up close and personal with you. We looked at a seed earlier, the milkweed that got spread by the wind. Well, this seed from the plant called T-I-C, trefoil, is spread by animals because an animal brushes against it, doesn't want it on, brushes it off, and then it has a way to get started. You see, it's just starting to turn brown now. It'll be a dark color, and they'll be completely dry. And if you shake it, the seeds on the inside of the seed pod will rattle. The Native Americans called this rattleweed. We call it false indigo or blue indigo. This one you can use for your sense of sight, sense of touch, sense of hearing. This is called Prairie Dock, D-O-C-K. One of the tallest plants in the prairie. You can not only look at this plant, but you can also use your sense of touch. Here, Sarah, feel that, see?
Oh, yeah.
And your sense of sound.
Yeah.
It not only feels like, but it sounds like sandpaper. You say, oh boy, there's an easy lunch for a big herbivore like a buffalo. The buffalo did not like to eat these leaves because they felt and tasted like sandpaper. Now, is that spider gonna jump out and bite you? No, spiders just want to be let alone. Depending on the day, you might see a butterfly like that yellow and black butterfly right there, called the tiger swallowtail, or you might see the Iowa State bird flying in and out, getting seeds. About February, March, the prairie is burned, and all the dead plants are burned, and then all the minerals from those plants get back in the soil. Plus the fact that if you see this invasive tree right here growing, the fire will destroy invasive plants like that. Now that we've taken a look at the prairie, I hope you'll have a chance to come and visit firsthand. No matter what season you come, you'll see it in some unique fashion. Thank you for watching, and be sure and follow us on our Black Hawk State Historic Site website and Facebook. You can keep up to date with all the things that are happening, and really would like to extend an invitation for you to come and visit us firsthand. Just explore nature and be a part of it and take advantage of this fantastic wonder of the Quad Cities.